Although is discussion on that motion? All those in favor, they were saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Welcome proxies, and we'll go over some of the proxy rules because we have so many proxies today. Once we get to voting, we'll talk about approval of the agenda. Are there any changes or corrections to the agenda? The one printed should be the same as the one up, except that it says the wrong date, so I'll fix the date. Any other changes or corrections? Seeing none, we'll pass it by unanimous consent. We'll move on to approval of the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes that Jake sent out on Monday?
Tuesday. You said on Tuesday.
On Tuesday. I apologize. Is there further discussion on the minutes from last week? Passes by unanimous consent. We have no open floor guests, so we'll move right into unfinished business. So we have a lot of resolutions. Proxies, you should have been directed by your senator how to vote. If you were not either explicitly told how to vote on each resolution or told to vote based on your discretion, then we ask that you abstain from the voting. So those are the basic rules. If you have questions during it, you can, it's aye, nay, and abstain. So if you have questions, just let me know, and I'll call on you. So first up, we have resolution number 18S015, Rocker Car Club.
Should I just read these all again?
I don't think so.
Campbell Oberpiller, resolution number 18S 15. From the 14th of March 2018, originated by the Constitution Committee and presented by myself, as this is the second reading.
Will you go add the zero? We changed it last week, but it must not have gotten saved. It or must not have been saved.
We did it too late. So.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so it's changed. Yeah, doesn't matter. Yep. Discussion on this resolution. Senator Clem.
I think it's a really cool idea.
Senator McBride.
Move to approve.
There's been a motion to approve made by Senator McBride, seconded by Senator Knott. Discussion on that motion. We'll move on to a roll call vote.
Not.
Aye.
Foxy Russell.
Aye.
Lopez.
Aye.
Foxy Plants also.
Aye.
Plum.
Aye.
Alvadakis. Foxy Dolly.
Aye.
Rogers.
Aye.
Bottom. Barthel.
Aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Foxy Bolt.
Abstain.
Roder.
Aye.
Vite.
Aye.
Cordelis.
Aye.
Bolsher. Proxy Alphonsus.
Abstain.
Newsom.
Aye.
Penning.
Aye.
Spillman.
Aye.
Hampshire. Proxy Zem.
Aye.
Yep, motion passes. Congratulations. So the Constitution will be in touch with you guys just about what it takes to what sort of the new privileges you have on campus, that sort of thing. But congratulations. We'll move on to resolution number 18S016 AEG. It's a
Okay.
there you go.
Got it.
Alright. Campbell Oberpiller, resolution number 18S016 from the 14th of March 2018, originated by the Constitution Committee and presented by myself, as this is the second reading.
Discussion on this resolution. Senator Cordelis.
This is the one we wanted to be more professional based, right?
Constitution says yes. Further discussion on this resolution? Is there a motion? Senator McBride?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve was made by Senator McBride, seconded by Senator Knott. Discussion on that motion? Okay, we'll move on to a roll call vote.
Knott,
Aye.
Proxy Russell.
Aye.
Lopez.
Aye.
Proxy Kleinstosser.
Aye.
Plum. Elvidakis. Proxy Dolly.
Aye.
Rogers.
Aye.
Bottom. Leo. Barthel.
Aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Proxy Volk.
Abstain.
Porter.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Cardelis.
Aye.
Holscher. Proxy Alphonsus.
Abstain.
Knutson.
Aye.
Penning.
Aye.
Spillman. Einringer. Proxy Zem.
Aye.
Motion also passes. You guys will all send you a resolution. Final Constitution resolution, resolution number 18S017 AWG.
Campbell Oberpriller, resolution number 18S017 from the 14th of March 2018, originated by the Constitution Committee, presented by myself. This is the second reading.
Discussion on the resolution for the Association of Women Geoscientists. Senator Knott?
I don't quite remember, is there already a club for like women in like geology or geoscience?
No, there should be. There's clubs for women in STEM, but not specifically within geology or geoscience. Further discussion. Senator Knudsen.
Will this be geology's 6th organization on campus,
Yeah, probably.
including paleontology?
Paleontology would be 6. Further discussion? Senator Knott.
Motion to approve.
There's been a motion to approve made by Senator Knott, seconded by Senator McBride. Discussion on that motion. Move on to a roll call vote.
Knott.
Aye.
Senator, Proxy Russell.
Abstain.
Lopez.
Aye.
Proxy Kleinstosser.
Aye.
Plum.
Aye.
Elvidakis. Proxy Dolly.
Aye.
Rogers.
Aye.
Bottom. Leo. Barthel.
Abstain.
McBride.
Aye.
Proxy Volk.
Abstain.
Rudder.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Cardelis.
Aye.
Holscher. Proxy Alphonsus.
Abstain.
Knudsen.
Aye.
Penning.
Aye.
Spillman. Einringer. Proxy Zem.
Aye.
Motion passes. So we'll move on to resolution number 18S018, ASCE supplemental request.
Campbell Oberpriller, resolution number 18S018, 14th March 2018, originated from the Finance Committee and presented by myself, Senator Spillman. Whereas this is the second reading, I will not read it again.
Discussion on this resolution. And there is a member of ASCE who is here if he wants to add comment. Senator Clump.
I use my time if he wants to comment.
Yeah, one thing, I don't know if this messes with things, but the Rocky Mountain Regional Conference. This is instead of-
That would be a friendly amendment.
Yeah, I think that
Amendment of Senator McBride.
rather than national to regional.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for me?
Proxy Kleinsalzer.
Are there any, tell us about ASE real quick, like 10 seconds. For those of us in the room that are not civil engineers. Tell us about ASE in like 10 seconds.
ASC is a professional organization for the civil engineering department on campus.
And what do we,
Proxy
never mind,
Kleinsalzer.
whatever, never mind.
No, you're good.
Tell us about the like 10-second schedule of what's coming up in Rapid City in the next like month.
Next month, how about just in the next 2 weeks, which is where we need this money for. People show up next Thursday. We have right around 400 students showing up. We'll have events up at the King Center, a mystery design competition that they don't know what we hand them a box and tell them to build something like a water filter, whatever it may be. Kiwa's helping with that. We have our opening night with all the different schools. There will also be probably quite a few bridge teams practicing that night. The next day at the Civic Center, you have canoe aesthetics, you have steel bridge aesthetics, then you have the steel bridge competition. You also have the swamp testing for the canoes on Friday, and then Saturday everybody goes down to Angostura for the bridge or for the canoe competition as well as a surveying competition, and then you also have the banquet Saturday night for everybody, as well as the technical and non-technical paper to be presented on Friday.
President of
April 5th, not next Thursday.
Sorry, 2 weeks from now, April 5th, 6th, 7th.
Senator McBride. It's been a motion to approve, made by Senator McBride, seconded by Senator Rogers. Discussion on that motion. Seeing none, we'll move on to a roll call vote.
Not. Proxy Russell.
Aye.
Lopez.
Aye.
Proxy Kleinsalzer.
Aye.
Plum.
Aye.
Elvedekis.
Aye.
Proxy Dolly.
Aye.
Rogers.
Aye.
Bottom. Wheel. Bethel.
Aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Proxy Volt.
Abstain.
Roder.
Aye.
Vite.
Aye.
Cardelis.
Aye.
Bolsher. Proxy Alphonsus.
Abstain.
Knudsen.
Aye.
Penning.
Aye.
Spillman.
Aye.
Meinership. Proxy Zen.
Abstain.
Okay, we'll sign the resolution and get that working with finance team, okay?
Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you. We'll move on to resolution number 18S019, mine rescue supplemental request.
Ambulance overcolor resolution number 18S019 originated on the 14th of March 2018, originated by Finance Committee, presented by myself, as this is the second reading, I'm not going to read it again.
Discussion on this resolution for the mine rescue. Senator McBride.
So this was, I'm not mistaken, that it got to.
Yes, so to clarify, last week I had said that it was going to have to sit on the table. That's not correct. Because we made the amendment last week, it sat on the table this week, so we can vote on this one this week. What is that? Did you have more? Go ahead.
Yeah, so, how, just to clarify, how is this going to affect, for not only this, but not having presented for SOAP this year, how is it going to affect what they get for funding next year, and what they can do?
See if I'll go.
So it, currently, as the Constitution stands, they cannot apply for more than $500 of new venture funding next year. They can't apply for supplemental. And they can apply for regular SOAP again, but that's for the following year. So basically next year, they can obtain a maximum of $500 per semester.
Further discussion on this resolution? Senator Barthel.
Could I get a refresher on what equipment is a part of this 2300?
Sure. I think there might be some budget information on the next page. So the majority of their expenses are actually travel related. It does not show detail, it just shows the expenses per semester. So I do have all their expenses in a separate document. I can pull that out if you like. We can talk about it, but some of it's travel, some of it is equipment that is very expensive, and it's a one-time purchase, and so they're looking to get it and then have it for multiple years after that. I can double check.
For those of you who can't see, we're watching an organizational master at work.
I found it. So let's see. So we've got they're buying something that's called a VG4, and it's an upgrade kit. I believe it's a respiration device that is on each one of their backpacks that they carry. The backpacks themselves are like $6,000 as a whole unit, but they upgrade certain parts or they replace certain parts on it when they have the proper funding, and so this is one of their things. And when I spoke with Davis about it, he said that their current equipment is very old and it's getting to the place of a potential safety hazard, according to me.
Further discussion on this resolution, or sorry, did you have something to spell? Okay, Senator Heinricher.
So are there any additional upgrades that will be in use to come, or so is this something that they actually have budgeted, like set into a spreadsheet of when, how often they need things upgraded and purchased?
Let's see, so I haven't seen a schedule in terms of multiple years out, but I do know that they do have expenses, like you say, on a regular basis. In fact, their club is a very expensive club in terms of all the stuff that they need. They do a lot of fundraising, and so that's how they manage to stay afloat, to sort of supplement what they get from soap. But in terms of what they're going to spend this money on, it's the VG4 upgrades. I guess it does say it right there too. On the left-hand side, VG4 upgrades. It's kind of hard to see the amount. But that's primarily where this supplement is going to go.
Senator Spillman? There's been a motion to approve made by Senator Spillman, seconded by Senator Heinricher. Further discussion on that motion? Okay, we'll move on to a roll call vote.
Knott,
Aye.
Proxy Russell.
Aye.
Lopez.
Aye.
Proxy Kynesasser.
Aye.
Clone.
Aye.
Elvedekis.
Aye.
Proxy Dolly.
Aye.
Rogers.
Aye.
Bottom. Rio. Barthel.
Aye.
Bride.
Aye.
Proxy Volt.
Abstain.
Roder.
Aye.
White.
Aye.
Cardelas.
Aye.
Olsher. Proxy Alphonsus.
Abstain.
Knudsen.
Aye.
Penning.
Aye.
Spillman. Heinricher. Proxy Zen.
Abstain.
All right, we'll get that sent to the finance so that they can work with it. Moving on, resolution number 18S020, HPV supplemental request. And I didn't hear anything about, I couldn't find anything about HHPV. I swear we passed it. I guess we'll change it because MindLink says HPV, we'll change it back to national. So. If you, yeah.
What's that?
Well, because I'm pretty sure that they changed it in their constitution, but MindLink still says HPV, so we'll leave it as that.
Okay, I'll read into it. Campbell Overpiller Resolution Number 18S020, 14th of March 2018, originated by the Finance Committee and presented by myself, Senator Spillman. Whereas this is a second reading, I will not read it again, but I will present it.
Okay, thank you. Did you have Senator Knudsen?
Just on a side note, with the amount of people gone and then the amount of abstains we have, how many ayes do we need to?
16, I believe is the number.
And we're getting 7 to 16.
Yeah, so 16 is.
just wanna make sure that we get past anything tonight with the number of abstains.
Yeah, I know, so
Good catch.
we'll double check that, because it clearly wasn't actually updating the quorum correctly, so we'll look at that thing. Tyler Spelman.
With the HPD update, do you want me to remove Hard Rocker or?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Does it say it on Mind Link now?
No, not on MindSync, but on our most recent constitution, it is Hard Rock.
Yeah, so we'll match Mind Link for now, but we should talk to Corey about getting this switched up. Or talk to their club about it. While we're figuring out the quorum part, is there further discussion on this resolution? Senator Khan.
Ezra, did you talk to these guys?
We did.
Do they have plans on going back to the steel that their donator has? Or?
I'm not sure on that. I'm thinking that this event of them, that company not having the stock, they'll probably want to go back to what they used to. That would be my guess. But did we ask them that, Ed? Do you remember?
So, just for clarification, do you mean next year are they gonna switch back to the original steels or something that the? Okay, we didn't ask them that at all.
And we need 16, and we've had that for all of them.
Okay.
Just saying. Further discussion. Sorry, I missed. Did you get the answer to your question? Okay. Further discussion. Senator Spellman. There's been a motion to approve made by Senator Spellman. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator McBride. Discussion on the motion. We'll move on to a roll call vote.
Ron?
Sorry, Senator Knudsen.
Can Senator Spillman, motion if she's presenting?
I retract my motion.
Sorry. Okay. Okay, Senator McBride. Motion to approve, seconded by Senator Nod. Discussion on that motion. Move on to a roll call.
Did Senator Spillman motion the last resolution as well?
Not the one I read.
Not the one she read.
Nah. Parks, you also?
Aye.
Lopez? Parks, Klein, also?
Aye.
Cologne? Aye. Alvedakis? Aye. Roxy Dolly?
Aye.
Rogers?
Aye.
Bottom? Rio? Barthel?
Aye.
McBride? McBride?
Aye.
Proxy Ball?
Abstain.
Roder?
Aye.
White?
Aye.
Fidelis?
Aye.
Bolster? Proxy Alphonsus?
Abstain.
Knudsen?
Aye.
Pennon?
Aye.
Spillman?
Aye.
Einarcher? Parks is out.
Abstain.
17.
Motion passes. All right, we'll send that to them. And finally, resolution number 18S021, the gas recommendations.
Campbell Oberpiller, resolution number 18S021, March 14th, 2018, as this is originated by the Finance Committee and by myself, as this is the second reading.
Discussion on this resolution. CFO Gurley.
Also, feel free, I hope you guys had a chance to look into all of the data attached to this in detail. I've got all the information pulled up, so if you have specific questions, feel free to ask, and I'll do the best we can to clarify stuff.
Do you have, I mean, if you have readily access, otherwise take a minute to look up, but do you have like how many organizations presented to start this year? What the average, like, what the average number they got was, just so people can have an idea?
Yes, I should have all that information.
Not to put you on the spot, we didn't talk about this before.
Yeah, so there were 74 organizations that presented in total, for a total request, a sum total request of all of them of $385,000. We have cut them down to $196,000. And the average request was $5,278.
They're getting like an average of 60 some odd percent versus the last year's 48 or 52 or something.
It turned out to be a little less. So the average last year, I believe, was 46% of what they asked for. This year, I think it's a little higher. Actually, if you scroll down, it's on the next page. I think it's 49%, if I remember correctly. So not this page, the following page. It's all the way at the bottom. So you can see 51%. So 49% cut.
So everyone's at 5%. That's good.
Yeah.
Further discussion on this resolution. CFO Griffin.
Oh, and this is one other fun fact about it. Every year since 2009, we've seen the average club request grow by $250 on average. But this year, it actually dropped by $1,200 as an average request, which means last year the average request was over $6,000. So we've seen a significant drop this year.
Senator Spillman.
Motion to approve.
Is there further discussion?
That's my motion.
Thank you.
I was just gonna ask,
Senator Rothar.
the total soap funding was last year, was the dollar amount that was allocated?
Yes, let's pull that up.
Go.
Back to the keeping this kind of somewhat.
Sure. So, proxy, what you're seeing, or something on this?
Yeah,
You can go ahead and move
I was gonna say, I've kind of already talked about my thoughts on it, and I'm just looking into it, and my first opinion, I decided this isn't really I encourage everyone to still consider just where this money is going to, but I think this is the place. There's definitely a lot more people who need to be considered before any major changes take place. So I'll be supporting it.
And for the proxies, what you're seeing here are the allocations from SOAP. Obviously, most of you have probably heard about the SOAP process. So these are club dollars here. Please keep these kind of to yourself until we pass that along. Some clubs get cut quite a bit, and we want to be the ones to tell them that. We don't really want them to get secondhand knowledge beforehand, so that we can have a conversation with them if they want to at that moment. Save growth if you want to mention anything else.
Just to clarify that is correct. Until it's approved, we don't like to spread it out. However, if it is approved today, then it's considered public knowledge. I will be emailing this out tomorrow if it's approved.
Okay.
So that's how that works.
And it's same with GAF until input.
That's correct.
So until midnight.
Yeah.
On the
Senator Bedek.
Are we recording this, like, part right now?
Yeah,
It's
but
live.
it's
It's
facing
facing that way.
That's why I asked.
Save growth.
Oh, and then to answer your question, Senator Bartels, we allocated $213,000 last year to SOAP, as opposed to $196,000 this year. The reason why it's less this year is we removed 2 organizations out of SOAP, specifically Rocker Days and Cultural Expo Committee. We funded them directly from GAF. And the sum total of their budgets is about $16,000. So that is very close to the difference that we see.
Further discussion on this resolution? Senator Spillman. Been a motion to approve made by Senator Spillman, seconded by Senator Knopf. Discussion on that motion? Okay, we'll move on to a roll call vote.
Not.
Aye.
Foxy Russell.
Aye.
Lopez.
Aye.
Proxy Finance Officer.
Aye.
Plum.
Aye.
Elvidekis.
Aye.
Proxy Dolly.
Aye.
Rogers.
Aye.
Vada. Real. Barthel.
Aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Proxy Volk.
Abstain.
Roder.
Aye.
Vite.
Aye.
Cardelis.
Aye.
Bolsher. Knight. Proxy Alphonsus.
Abstain.
Knudsen.
Aye.
Bennett.
Aye.
Spillman.
Aye.
Heinercher. Aye. Proxy Zap.
Abstain.
Motion passes. And to update you on the stream, I am currently the only person watching it, so it doesn't really matter. Senator Clem.
Well, in regards to that too, I think this is, anybody.
It's a
can come
public
here-
meeting,
can come
yeah.
here as well, so if they are here, they're welcome. to
It's not that it's private information, it's more sensitive in nature. Okay, we have no new business this week, so we'll move on to open discussion. I would like to remind committees, though, that next week will be the last week to submit new business, unless it's urgent, because if you submit it during the transition meeting, you will not be the one voting on it, so just be aware of that. Open discussion, topics for open discussion. Are there any? None? Senator Plum.
I like the turnout of people applying for next
Yes.
Senate. It's good.
To give you guys an update, we have 11 candidates for senior position, which is probably the most I've seen. We have 7 for junior and 5 for sophomores. So congratulations to the sophomores in the room who will already be elected, which would be Senator Roeder, Senator Vite, Proxy Dolly, and is there one more in this room?
Did Abby apply?
Abby did not. So I don't know who the other 2 are. No, Holscher did not apply. So we have 3 people that we've seen around here, and then we'll get 2 new, which is phenomenal. I think it's great to get some transition so people know how it works, and then some new perspective as well. So, yep. Senator McBride.
Turns out Proxy Dolly's first name is not Proxy.
Surprising.
Found that out. Never heard it before.
Any other topics for open discussion? Senator Lopez.
Well, the Constitution Committee is writing like the student organization handbook, and we're going over like major fixes tomorrow. But something that I would maybe like to gather like Senate feedback on is we're talking about like grounds for not approving an organization. So different ideas of like why would you not approve an organization, just so that we can put that into like our bylaws and then into a student handbook, so that student organizations kind of know like what wouldn't kind of pass through Senate, and then also like when they could reapply to become an organization. Right now we have just like a month that they'd have to wait until after the voting ends, so that then they could come back in to reapply to be an organization. But we're kind of looking for feedback from senators, so maybe like some reasons why you wouldn't vote for an organization, and then also like how long do you think they should wait until they can reapply?
Thoughts on that comment? Senator Spillman.
Umbrellaing is kind of something to look at, like in the sense that if it could be, then I wouldn't want to approve them, or if there's like 6 of them, then it's hard when they're all 6 very similar.
Senator McBride.
I was gonna say rather than a amount of time they have to wait before reapplying, maybe they could have to point out a change that they've made to like some different about their next application.
Senator Knudsen.
I'm gonna tag along with that. So I think it should maybe be a combination of both. They should have to wait a certain period of time, a year perhaps, 2 semesters, and then they should have to explain why the organization fell apart in the past. That's not such a time gap that they couldn't explain it if it's too far out. And obviously, they can't give an explanation for somebody else's organization, and then what changes they've done that will ensure continuity and.
Yeah. Further thoughts on this? Steve, look correctly.
I did. I know I can't vote, but I vote no to umbrella
I
organizations.
prefer
I know, that's just because, so we've done that before, it's really made things complicated for the finance.
There. Further discussion? Any other topics for open discussion? And if you need anything from the senators in regards to that, just we'll send it out. So be checking your emails about that because we're trying to get some of that finished up by transition, not all of it. Seeing none, we'll move on to reports. So CFO, you are up.
Okay, state of finances are pretty good. We got the approval, as I mentioned last week, of all of the GAF allocations from Heather Forney, so I think we're doing well there. The numbers are going to be sent out tomorrow to all of the organization presidents. And if people feel differently, we could send it out to the whole campus. But typically in the past, we've just sent it to organization presidents. I guess I can talk to you, Aaron, about that. We want to do a campus-wide email. But the
Well, sure, I'd be interested in what people's thoughts are.
yeah, does anybody have thoughts, first of all, about that?
Sending it to presidents versus the whole campus.
Right.
As far as transparency goes?
Yeah, or just in general, because it's considered transparent, but if we were to send it out to the whole campus, maybe it's too much out there. I'm not sure. I guess you guys can give me your thoughts.
Senator Martel.
I think it'd be good to send it to the whole campus because it is there. It's the whole campus's, tuition dollars going towards it. So I think it's in everyone's interest.
Senator Cordell.
I feel like you could just send it to the presidents because they have access to the resolutions, don't they? They can go view the resolutions.
They can, but I don't think many people do.
I don't know, we have access to do it. It's their choice if they don't find it.
Senator, can you tell that?
So I was going to say, I would just send it to the presidents of the organizations and their advisors. And then maybe post it outside the Senate door for a number of days so it's public information for everyone to see. I think Senator Barthel is correct, but in that it is everyone's money, but their money is taken for that allotment regardless of the scenario. But those who applied for it would want to know maybe how it was split out in respect to other organizations. I don't know that it would necessarily be information for interest of other students, and if it's still free access for everyone to be able to come and get at leisure. The only people who are truly interested in those numbers for the most part, and the grand generalization, would be the campus, the organizations themselves, and their advisors. Because generally if their advisors are upset with the funds, they come and ask us the next year as soon as they realize how much they've received. So if they already have it in their email.
Senator McBride first.
I would just say not at campus email, just send it to presidents because, like Senator Cardella said, they can access it, and if they really care that much, they can go ahead and do that. Whereas if we send out an email to the whole campus, then it's just easy fodder for complaining people who wouldn't really put out the effort to find out, but because they get an email that says, oh, look where this money's going, and they think, oh, I don't want that. I think the people who, if they care, they can find out. If they don't care.
Senator Elizabeth.
I think that it should be a full campus email because I think not sending, like the reasoning for not sending it of being, oh, well, they could find out themselves is a wrong way to think about it. Because we should be really open with our students of how we're spending the money. Granted that money is allotted no matter what, but the breakdown and things like that, I think every student should be able to see it. And if they want to complain about it, let them complain. At least they're letting their voice out and they're knowing what's going on in the student body and with the Senate.
See if we're good.
Okay, so I think there's a little difference of opinion. Would we be able to take an informal vote and then make a decision off of that?
Yeah, for proxies, well, do you have a question?
Well, I was just gonna make a quick comment. I definitely agree with, Edward and McBride, but this is the most involved I've ever been with Senate, and being the average college student here, I would like to say that honestly, most of us probably don't really read the Senate emails and we don't really care. As soon as we see that Senate email, we hit delete 90% of the time. So I feel like sending it out to all of us probably wouldn't really be that beneficial. There might be maybe 10% of the people that actually read it. And so you guys said it's only going to be the presidents of all the clubs that are actually going to care.
Yeah. One thing that I would urge you to consider also is the idea of misinformation now. If you look on social media, listen to conversations down in Lower Survey, you'll hear a lot of people who throw misinformation about how their student money is being spent. And that, I believe, is a Senate issue that we should consider addressing and trying to inform people on how their money is spent. I'm not saying that an email is the best way. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying something to consider. Senator Language.
That's why I think it would be a good idea to just post it on the Senate door for everyone to see, because that way it's open to whoever actually wants to actually see the numbers, versus just sending out an email that just lingers out there and ends up being deleted anyways. And so like it targets everyone still, but like it's not just unnecessary time wasting because it's posted for everyone, but whoever actually wants to see it available, it's available for them.
Just say two quick things. I don't double dipping. So the contract for where everyone, so whenever you get those emails that say you can't park here because there's a game tonight at Stevens or whatever, that contract is, you can go see it if you want to go up to the admin building. They'll have it, they'll print it off for you, you can have a copy, but it's not for everyone out there. They don't email it out to the campus every year when they update that paperwork. It's not that no one can see it, it's just that it's like you said earlier, it's kind of sensitive in nature, and so it just isn't information that gets spammed out to everyone. So in second, we could also just talk to the school newspaper and see if they'd be willing to post a shorthand list of those numbers, because they tend to do it about every other year where they get upset with how much they received. Anyways, so I don't know. Well, they always need to hit that like 6-page limit or whatever they have to do anyways. That's it.
Club to do something? Okay. Spillman. Did you take your hand back?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that newspaper idea is a really good idea.
See if we're
Or we can meet in the middle and send it out to all the executive members instead of just the presidents of each club. It hits more people, but not the entire campus.
Do you have the information for all those people?
I do.
You do have
All their email addresses.
How do you get those?
Off of my slip.
Those aren't all accurate.
Well, I know, but it's the best we got.
Yeah, so the issue is like actually reaching those people, so.
It's true. I mean, that's how we communicate with the SOAP hearings and the SOAP workshops. So it's but I agree with you, it's not perfect.
Is this, question for the CFO, are you just going to be sending out the SOAP allocations or GAP as well?
It would be everything. It would be the spreadsheets on the pages after this.
Not to be annoying, but if you were to just say, hey, you can send it to your members if you'd like to, if they're interested in it, could you say that in the email instead of having to send it to everybody else?
Yeah, I was gonna say that it could create more of a problem for the organizations themselves to have it sent to all their members or like all their executive team, because everybody has a different idea of how they want to spend money, and it might be harder for the treasurer and president to go with their plan if everyone has it.
I've actually reconsidered. I like your point. Maybe just send it out to everyone and see if people do respond. Get you a gauge of how many people actually read the emails. But
it's a low number. Vivek.
What have we done in the past?
In the past, it's been to presidents.
Just the presidents.
Any further discussion on it?
Sorry. Actually, last year was the first time since I've been here that it was sent to presidents. In the past, it hasn't been sent out at all that I'm aware of.
No, we
In my time.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, we sent letters. I remember specifically Aaron Grimm writing a very nice letter 2 years ago.
I believe before that, everyone got their own allocation. No one got anyone else's or the comparative of like vice versa, because at that point the issue was we didn't want everyone to see, like we didn't want one club to see that they got cut 56% and one club to see that they got cut 93% and be
And that's what I was referring to, because in my time, we never send out all the numbers to everybody, but everyone else receives their own, and that's how it's happened.
I'd also recommend maybe not putting how much each group was cut and just put how much they're allotted.
Of course, you're gonna have a calculator, so.
I would do a pie chart because people love pie charts.
Okay, well, first of
Lots
all,
of
I'd like to
ideas,
take, I kind of like to
Yeah.
gauge the room because
Yeah.
sometimes people have different opinions. Raise your hand if you would be in support of sending it to the presidents and or just the executive officers rather than the whole campus.
And advisors.
And advisors. Please raise them high. So I can count. Okay, all those who support campus-wide. Was that? Oh, okay. So, based on the vote, by 2, it would be just to the president's executive. But I think encouraging people to share it and to their members and that sort of thing would be an advisable thing to do. Senator Rogers.
The reason why I said that was like that way, like Ari said, it's not just trying to hide that screen door just to make sure that they only get to see it. It's being open with everybody. They want to share it.
If you have very strong feelings, come talk to me after the meeting. But my guess is that we'll probably send it out just to the executive team. But ultimately, I think that this is a finance decision. But I think that finance should take into consideration the vote that was just there. Senator Barthel. Yeah. Senator Plum.
Do you need to do anything different to be more transparent, like letting people know how to access that drive?
So
Because I know it's always an option.
It is. So it's sort of a interesting need. Today I had, because there were so many proxies, a lot of people said, where are the proxy forms? They're like searching throughout the Senate. I was like, oh, they're in the F drive. Like, how do you get to the F drive? And I was like, you've been a senator this whole time. Like, you should so when people come onto the Senate, I onboard them and I send them a link and I say, hey, this is how you do it, and I try to walk them through it, but it gets lost. And plus, that was however many months ago. As for when I came in as a president, I sent out a campus-wide email that said, hey, just a reminder, everything we do is public. It's all in the F drive. I sent a link so they could just click it and pull it right up. They wouldn't even have to go search it. I don't know. I'm hoping some people, I've tried to spread the word. This is kind of where I think we need to start, and we talked about this in e-board last night. As a group, I think we can agree that emails and the F drive are not as efficient for getting good public word out there. We tried to do our website. Our plan was to update it with the resolutions every week. So I mean, even that, how many people are going to check the website? But it's easier. We ran into issues with how quickly we could update it, and now it turns out we don't even. Where's Kate? We don't. Would you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So like a couple months ago, like last time I tried to update the website, like somebody new had taken over, and like at this time we don't have access to updating your website anymore. It's basically
So we can't use that. So I made the recommendation to e-board, and I think that this is something that next year's Senate could look at, but using social media to talk about the resolutions that are currently on the table each week, and then any new documents, sending a link that says, hey, it's on the F drive under this, under this, under this. All we can do is give information. We can't click buttons for people, and realistically, we have a certain duty to inform people, but we have a greater job to represent them here and to get their opinions. We can't spend all our time trying to inform people is what I would say. Other thoughts on that, please, Senator McBride.
One could put like a little poster or direct people to the app drive at the bottom of the comment board. That seems to be where people would they get their most interaction with Senate, and if we just had something on the bottom there, find out more about Senate.
I think that's a very good idea.
Drive and
I think you also include like just a little blurb at the end of like your set of emails. Let's go out.
Yeah.
Just access.
Just something. Put it
like the link. Access it.
Sure. Senator Rogers.
We used to do that for the other committee I was on last semester. I'm sorry, student affairs. I can't talk today either, so I get it. But that's what we did last semester. Didn't we do that?
Yeah. No, and I think that you still do. Sometimes it has links in there to the F drive. I've seen one in a couple of emails, but. Any other thoughts on this topic? Did you does that help some? Okay. Any other items for open discussion? Dean?
We're still in my report, excuse me.
Oh.
Oh, we're not in open discussion. Well,
that's okay.
Dean, man, what do you have?
Oh, thank you. I need to go to another meeting, so I'm going to be leaving you all. And Senator Elmore isn't here today, so I'm acting as her pseudo proxy. But we are on the commencement committee, and the Student Association each year helps to narrow down the selection for the class speaker for commencement. So here is the list for circulation among you all to start figuring out 2 to 3 names to send forward to the commencement committee and President Rankin on who you would like to see for the senior commencement speaker. There's been discussion every semester about how to maybe be more transparent and get names. So you might want to go back to the email conversation. You might, I don't know, but how to get more input on class speakers. So I leave that with
Sure. Yeah,
you.
we'll pass it around.
Okay, and then that's the only one that we have, so don't lose it.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and traditionally how we've done that is everyone gets 2 votes. So you can vote twice for the same person or once for 2 different people. Senator can.
Are we doing tick marks or little X's?
You can mark it however you find appropriate.
Okay.
I'm going to send this around. Please try to get it all the way around, and then we'll send it again next week. Proxies, please vote. Okay. Steve-O, would you like to continue your report?
My poor report sure got derailed. That's actually it. End of report.
Any questions for finance? Also, this is the first time that we've ever been like unsupervised, guys. So, pretty big deal right now. We're in uncharted waters. Senator Benedict.
Is there no fun fact?
Oh, thank you.
Well, no, end of report. I'm sorry, but
So finance fact is taking a break today because there were no good finance facts. But that's honestly nothing really out there. So.
Any other questions for finance? Once, twice, okay. Vice President Oberfiller.
Hello, everybody. So on Monday night, Grant and I went to the PEI Leadership Social and learned a lot about personal branding from Christina McCollum. She works for Assurant, but is also with Black Hills Leadership Development. And they're an organization, Don Lyons kind of described it as like the Greater Rapid City area PDI. And so just a group of individuals that serve on a board that try to put together some speakers for leadership. And they have a monthly speaker. And you can contact them. I can give you guys Christina's information if you are interested in going to see that. But essentially, it's a really good thing. But it's about personal branding and how your organization can have a brand as well, and it's based on the relationships that you have with other people. So it was a pretty interesting discussion. I don't know if you wanted to say anything about it. I don't want any of us. And as far as the concert goes, we are still working on the dates with the artists because first date didn't work out, and we're doing some backup dates. And so once we figure out whether or not we can go with the artist that we present with, we'll let you know, and if not, we'll let you know that we're going with the backup artist, and we'll tell you the dates for that too. So, more to come. We do not have them selected. We have a list, but they're not selected yet.
Questions for Vice President Oberfiller? Senator McBride.
So we may have to fall back on Taylor Swift, is what you're saying?
We might have to fall back on T-Swift.
As disappointed as Senator Knudsen might be.
Well, we want to be transparent about the amount that the concert costs from their student revert funds, because I heard gossip at my place of employment, which is not even a school, that we were spending $500,000.
Whoa.
And I had to correct that
Robert,
at my place of employment.
For all the process in the room, we are going to use $170,000. That does not get pulled out of the account until an event happens. And if it doesn't happen within 3 years of when that resolution was passed, the money gets or stays in the account and will not be pulled, or 3 years following an event. So
That's from
170,000, not 500.
From about 900,000.
From about, yeah.
To give you perspective. Senator Spill.
I also had a suggestion from that same person that maybe instead of a concert, we get Neil deGrasse Tyson.
He was here like a year ago.
Yeah, she was really
Tell her thank you for her enthusiasm.
I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Do you mind if I ask like what this is all about? Because I kind of feel out of the loop as a proxy,
Of
so
course.
I'm not sure if anyone else is feeling that way, but I'm not sure what you guys mean by concert and within 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so the idea of us having a concert through the School of Mines, well, the idea started with at the School of Mines, but our facilities, like the football field and stuff, don't support it yet. So we moved over to the Civic Center. This is not a Senate entity that was planning the concert, but it has to pull money from the reserve fund. I'm sorry, I'm going all over the place. There's a reserve fund. Your GAF money essentially builds up, the leftovers build up inside that reserve fund. It's just student dollars that have been built up over the last 20-some years since it was last depleted. Yeah. And so it's a pot of money that's used for several different things on campus, but Senate has control to pull money out of it to use it for certain events if they deem it's necessary. So planning for the concert started, and we submitted a resolution, or proposed a resolution to the Senate asking for $170,000 to be allocated for funding a concert in this fall, and that was approved. Now we're working with the artists on getting that booked, and then we can have a concert at the Civic Center.
Students will get discounted
Students will
prices.
get a discounted ticket price. So much like other universities that have concerts at their schools.
Senator Clump.
Yeah, the idea is that it's like a one-time thing, and then continuously.
So any profits made on the concert are going to be going into a separate fund, and then that's going to be used to fund concerts in the future. So we get a lasting effect.
Roxy Dolly, you have something for us? We're waiting to do that all day. Anything else? Or any other questions on the concert?
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions for Jake? Senator Knudsen.
Just like to steal a comment from Senator Spillman and just let you know that your hair is very dope.com.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so I've got a couple things from my report. Dope.com. Okay, so I don't know how it hasn't been said, but congratulations to both Jake and Grant for being elected as the next. I have no doubt that you guys are going to continue what we've been trying to work on this year and probably add a million other things to it. So that's awesome. So next Tuesday, the 27th at 6 p.m., we will be having a Board of Regents meeting over in BH. So it's Jake, myself, Grant, and Summer will be going. Problem is that not a lot of senators are here. I really would encourage a senator, if they were still interested in the executive director position for the Federation, to consider running. It's a really great way for you to learn about how to manage a higher business. I really would like Summer to consider it. But anyway, basically your job would be to interface with all the universities and help lobby for student issues. We're working on the constitution of the student fed a little bit, that the position might change slightly, but it should be the same. It is paid. It's paid right now about $1,000. So if you guys have anything, there shouldn't be any there shouldn't be any changes on the dues that we pay to Federation, but there may be a change in the way that they're spent, so it really won't affect us as a student fed. Appointed positions, just a reminder kind of to Jake and Grant and to everyone who is in appointed position right now, you do not need to fill out a Senate form, so that's nice, but you will need to be reaffirmed. So if you're interested in running again, appointed positions, and proxies for appointed positions, please talk to Jake and Grant. he'll probably send out an email, or depending on how they go about their process. But you will need to be reaffirmed a resolution that says you represent the constituency group. If they select more people, you may need to present again. So just be aware of that. You technically will not be in. I'll need to look through the Constitution, but I do not believe that you will have voting powers once the transition meeting takes place, and you actually need to be reaffirmed. I don't think that's traditionally how we've done it, but I think that's how we're supposed to be doing it. So that's how we'll be doing it this year. International, non-traditional, veteran, and graduate. Okay, if you have questions, appointed positions, talk to me after. And secretary, we'll need a secretary. Danik is going to stay secretary, right? Grant proposal, the people who, I'm still waiting on Dr. Brayman. She hasn't sent me the materials yet for the mobile computing grant. There's only 2 people, so it should be quick. As soon as I have the information, I'll send it to the 5 of you, or 4 of you, counting myself, who volunteered. Suicide prevention training, so if you aren't going to the Board of Regents meeting, you should definitely go to the suicide, or it's recognition. Is it prevention or recognition? Both? Yeah. Everything. It's an important, we talked about this last week. This is an issue that a lot of people on this campus face, whether you know it or not. And it's very important that we're tuned in to the people around us, that we're taking an active approach into helping people get out of the, some of the mental depressive periods in our life that we may have. So please, if you have an opportunity, it's 4 to 5 in the McKeel room next Tuesday, March 27th. And finally, I was, our international senator, who's not here, Soham, came up to me, and he sits on the Multicultural Advisory Committee, and it came up that one of the questions that was asked was, what were some issues facing or either minority or non-white students here on campus, and so he went out and he spoke to people who were involved in both minority groups, Cultural Expo, some of those groups that have a high concentration of these types of students, and so he brought some feedback. And the first one was interesting. They wanted one-on-ones with Senate, and so with the one-on-one program, as we'll be continuing that, we'll make sure that we're because we did it randomly, but they said that they really kind of urgently felt that they wanted to have one-on-ones, and not one-on-ones with the international senator, but one-on-ones with another senator. And so that will be something that's easy to implement. And another is that they wanted a little bit more Senate presence in events that they hold, because sometimes they feel like it's hard to get the word out. And as students, you're called as a student senator to, in some ways, lead your constituency group and inform them about things that are happening. So events like NSB's forums that they hold, their open forums, so their dialogues, I think that maybe is what they call them. It'd be really great to have some Senate turnout. They have one coming up in 2 weeks, I believe. I'll get you the date. But it'd be great. Both the Office of Multicultural Affairs and the SB work in conjunction there to set those up. Doing everything we can to engage people in conversation about things that maybe are hard to talk about. Same goes for, and this didn't really come up, but Ostown is struggling with their membership, because they don't feel like people know that they exist, things like that. So as senators, if you could do a good job of helping people get to support, helping people talk about issues on this campus that maybe need to be talked about, I highly encourage you. Anything else from that meeting? Yeah, if you guys have questions or you have comments, things you'd like me to pass on, please let me know. With that, any questions from me? Sorry for kind of the long report. Senator McBride.
Did you want to mention, just for the senators running again, that what we talked about in the office about the absences?
Oh yes, absences.
Next year.
Yeah, I suppose we should talk about this. I have done a terrible job of keeping people accountable on their absences this semester, and I take a decent amount of responsibility. I mean, granted, people not showing up, there's some responsibility there too. Just to reiterate, I was looking through the Constitution. It specifies that you can only miss 3, and proxies, if you would please pass this along to your senators, you can, by Constitution, only miss 3 meetings, and that's with proxies. You can miss 2 without proxies, after which you are to be removed. The reason that it's tough, one, is the school, I mean, some people get tests, right? I mean, some people just have tests on Wednesdays, you can't avoid that. I think that there's a little bit of discretion there. But we had people who have had seven proxies this semester, or this year. That's a lot. And so as senators, you were elected, this isn't just joining another organization, you were elected by your constituency groups to represent them. And that requires you to fulfill that duty. So please take it seriously, pass that proxies, please pass that along. In my transition report, I guarantee you there's going to be a whole section on how we need to be a little bit more stringent on this. It's tough because it does require you to find someone to replace that, but with the number of people that we had who submitted to run, that means that there's a large pool of people who are interested in the Senate. And if there are people who are interested and willing to be here every week, they should have the right to do that. So, any questions, any thoughts on that, Senator Craig?
Yeah, I was just going to point out the reason that Senator Otten told us the reason she's not running again because she doesn't want to commit that time next year. So that's
and that's an honorable thing. I mean, if you can't fulfill the duty, I mean that's part of the job. Senator Schmuck.
Is there any notes about limited plates of personal privilege? Because I think that's something where you guys have to.
I don't think it's written in the Constitution, but I think
something to look at.
I think that's something that we could look at. Further discussion on absences. Thank you for bringing that up. Further questions for me? Anything? Only got 2 more opportunities to ask me questions. Okay, we'll move on. Constitution. And we have a long report today.
Yep, it's very long. So we are working on the student organization handbook, and we'll be going through it tomorrow at our new committee meeting time, which is Thursdays at 3 p.m. Done.
Questions for Constitution?
Cool.
Any questions for Constitution? Okay. GR. Anyone from GR have a report?
So Megan was going to send me a report, but she never did. I don't know. We haven't had a meeting in a long time, so there's probably not much to say anyways.
Okay. Elections will be next week. Do you guys have a booth set up?
We do not have that set up yet.
Okay.
There was going to be a volunteer sheet sent around, but I don't think we have that yet.
Okay. So what we're going to do is do that right now. We're going to. So traditionally we do what 10 to 2, I think. Are you setting it up, Senator Spillman?
Yeah.
All right.
Wednesday.
10 to 2 Wednesday. It would be the 28th. Now, as a reminder, if you are running for Senate, you may sit the booth, but you cannot talk about, well, at any point, no matter whether you're running or not, you should not talk about who someone should vote for. You should just try to get them to vote. If you are running for Senate, you should definitely not try to get them to vote for you. Senator McBride.
I was going to
like at the Senate booth. I mean, you can do it outside, but just not at the Senate booth.
Okay. I was going to say, as sophomore senators, I was talking to Megan, and even though you guys are running unopposed, do try to make sure you get a couple votes at least, because it's going to be write-ins, and just to keep from someone who had no intention of being a senator from getting elected.
And beyond a couple votes, please try to promote voting in general. Student engagement in Senate is important. Senator Nunn.
Because I have a question. As far as write-in goes, is it the same policy as like presidential election where they have to, with minimum, they have to get 20
Yes,
votes?
they would have to get 20 people at a minimum and then be within the top.
Did you guys get, I guess it would be, you were the only standing committee member. So did you get an email on Sunday from Megan
Saying what? Or anything specific?
about checking the Senate office and sending names of candidates? Because you forwarded me an email, and it says that it went to you guys. But she forwarded it to me on Sunday, and I don't know if that was sent a long time before that.
Yeah, so I got that email too, but
Gotcha.
yeah.
Just curious.
Well, you can come talk to me about that stuff later. But yeah, so people, if you can sign up, we'll make sure we get the booth set up and reserved, and elections will happen as they should. Questions for GR? Okay, move on. PR.
Okay, Summer is Senator of the Week, and we are waiting for the band to be like determined before we proceed with our scavenger hunt to announce it. That's it.
Questions for PR? Okay. Student affairs. Any report that he sent you guys?
Oh, yes. Yeah. So we are creating a document with all the comments we've gotten from the comment board, just filtered down. And Sahil is scheduling a meeting with Dr. Simonson for next week, which would be this week.
You see anything about that? Any questions for SA? Are you guys going to change the whiteboard for next week? Like change it from president possibly to senators? Like what would you like to see from senators? Could be something else, but
We'll check.
okay. Sweet. Vice President, was it a joke?
No, it wasn't.
What was it say? Questions for GR or SA? Okay. Any campus ad hoc committees meet? No, Senator Schumann said it's. Oh, Senator Schumann said the science fair did not meet, but they're still really looking for volunteers. I'm sure you guys have seen like the 10 emails that you've been getting about this. This is a really great opportunity for us to engage in the community. So if you would check that, I think it's a Friday, April 6th, is that right? 16th? Something like that. If you guys would check to see if you can volunteer for that, it's really important. If Mines doesn't show up, I'm sure that they'll go to other places looking for volunteers, and we should have a strong scientific presence in the community. So please encourage your friends, your whoever to join. Everyone. They need like 35 more volunteers, so like they need a lot. Senator Knott.
It's on Wednesday, April 4th.
Not even close. All right, Wednesday, April 4th.
What?
From what time to
Oh.
It's in the morning, like 8 to 12, I think.
It does not say on this specific email, but registration deadline is today.
Upwards are at like 1:30 is what I.
So 8 to 1:30 potentially. Senator Knudsen.
Anybody reached out to SPS and asked if they would like to help support this? Because they love the numbers and they love to do things like this. It's kind of doubting the bag.
Can you send an email to Jonathan?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Senator Knott.
According to this email, it says registration deadline is today. I don't know if they will extend that if they're desperate.
I imagine they would. But still, I mean, like, try to get people to sign up if you can. Any other campus ad hoc committees? Nobody? You don't get a fun food committee report yet?
A fun food fact.
That should be a thing. That should be a thing. Okay, we'll move on. Upcoming Senate business. We have Board of Regents next week. Elections are next Wednesday.
What time is the bird?
Dinner starts at 6. You get free dinner.
What time was it?
4:35. Elections are next week. Encourage people to vote. If you ran, you can start putting posters and stuff down. As long as they're approved. I think Megan sent out an email, and I hope it said stuff about posters. I haven't checked it. So.
Where's the sign up time?
It's coming around.
It's right there.
Okay. Any other upcoming Senate business that you guys have? Oh, and if you guys can go to the suicide recognition and prevention thing next Tuesday from 4 to 5 in McKeel. That would be great. Announcements. Do we have announcements? Any announcements? No? Just Senator Knudsen.
So Secret Santa is right around the corner. So I just want everyone to keep that in mind and start thinking about what that means to you.
And really, because you guys won't be the ones giving gifts, I mean, think about what the next Senate can get for each other and then pass that along during the transition meeting. Okay. Any other announcements? Going once, twice. Senator Knott.
I make a motion to adjourn.
There's been a motion to adjourn made by Senator Knott, seconded by Senator McBride. We're just a power team today. Discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you guys. Meeting adjourned.
Excellent.
Oh, hey, commencement speakers, if you haven't voted yet, please stick around and just make it tally.
So you guys, did you go vote for commencement? Yes, Bill, I'm talking to you.
Throw my noodle bowl.
Your weird noodle bowl that
How
you keep in
dare
your
you
cupboard.
scold me for talking? I told you I have laptop fire. I was like, you wanted me to like talk myself.
No, I was.
You gave me the position, and then you scold me.
You're like a minute late.
And then you're like,
Oh no, I was just wondering.
sorry.
Oh, no.